Welcome back to the bench. Today we've got a 128 and this is a very sad looking C128. It's got 3 keys missing. The stems are intact on these ones. The stem's broken on that one. Not a problem, I've got replacements for these. I have spares for it, but the case has taken a hell of a lot of damage. So what we're going to do is do a full restoration on this and pretty much get it to look as new. So we've got a lot of work ahead, and if you want to look at the final results before it's finished, then and there we have it. This is what it looks like when it's finished. And you might be thinking that's a totally different machine, but you'd be wrong. If you want to see how I got this looking as good, almost as new, then carry on watching the video and all will be revealed. Let me take a moment to thank the sponsor of this video, PCB, my favourite manufacturer of low-cost PCBs, from CNC machining, 3D printing and sheet metal fabrication, right through to PCB fabrication and assembly. They've got you covered. They can also do injection moldings. Sign up as a new member and receive a $5 welcome bonus. There is a link to their website in the video description where you can check out the amazing services they have to offer. Now back to the bench. Okay, so pretty much nothing holding this thing together. It was pretty much just as it is. So it suffered not just only the damage here to the vents and the obviously where it's been stored with a cord on top and is reacted chemically. There's lots of dings in it, and basically, yeah. If we look underneath, you can see here where one of the feet goes. There's a great big hole. That's because there's a standoff, I believe, on the other side. The only screw in this thing appears to be this one here, and yeah, that's only holding the standoff that it's screwed into and not the actual computer itself. So let's get this top off and have a look inside. And remove the keyboard connector. Okay, and here we go. And this appears to be a later revision, or a different revision to the other 2 C128 flats I have, because they both have a socketed character ROM here and a couple of bodge wires going, and these are all socketed, whereas on the others they're not socketed, they're soldered directly in, or at least these two, the CPUs are the 8502 and Z80, so that's helpful. So if we need to test those, we can obviously pop them out. Plenty of dust bunnies. Put that on eBay later. I've got 2 chips here. I'm not sure if my other 128 has 2 chips there. Let me just go and grab my other board. Okay, so this is one of my other 128 boards. This one doesn't currently work at the moment. Like the juggler. And as you can see, yeah, this has this, which is the German character ROM. I'm presuming this also has a German character ROM because it's got a German keyboard on there. So, and yeah, it doesn't have these 2 bodge wires, so I assume then these 2 bodge wires are for the character ROM, or just because of that character ROM. As you can see, I've borrowed some parts from this board to test other stuff. I've already replaced all the RAM because, yeah, the RAM was faulty. Guess what brand of RAM it was? Yep, good old MT. I've already removed the top shield from this, yeah, because it was just falling out. There was nothing holding it in, even the keyboard LED. Yeah, the mount is missing, as well as the damage here. You can see, yeah, there's a great big crack there, impact damage. So this has obviously been dropped from a great height. Probably it was stored in somebody's cellar. It's also broken here. you know, tape deck or data set chucked on top, which is what's caused this, or the power supply cable caused it. And yeah, it's probably just slid off a box somewhere, dropped on the floor, and they've gone, oh, yeah, we'll just put it on eBay. Some mug will buy it. I paid the princely sum of €101 plus I think about €9 for shipping. Call it €110 in total for it. Yeah, fully horror, one in good condition seems to be going for around about 150 these days. You know, the prices have gone a bit crazy. Let me know down in the comments what prices they're going for in your area, whether they're silly money or whether they're still reasonably priced. And if we think that the actual computer itself is bad, let's take a quick look at the power supply. Looks good so far. And then we turn it over, and yeah, it's foobar to say the least. It's literally yeah, I think there was actually wood screws in it, so I think somebody had an attempt to repair this. I don't know. Clearly, yeah, somebody done a bad job, because I don't think yeah, Commodore uses bits of cardboard from, I don't know what that is. Some kind. Oh, it's like a scouring pad box. Yeah, I don't think Commodore put that in as factory standard. Put that on eBay later. And yeah, looking at the soldering on the somebody has, obviously this has come flying off. It's ripped the wires off, and somebody had to go at bodging it back together, and yeah, done a pretty bad job. So this case is absolutely cactus. I mean, it's beyond repair. Most of the pieces are missing. I got some of the pieces somewhere in a plastic bag that came with it, but yeah, with all the mounts and standoffs inside, all smashed to bits. I don't think this is salvageable. I'm just wondering whether I can put this into a 128, into a A500 case, because I do have a spare one, because I bought a job lot of Commodore power supplies, C64s and 1541 power supplies, and I think there was 3 Amiga 500 power supplies in there, and the one Amiga 600. Well, actually it says Amiga 300 on it, because it must have been one of the earlier ones before they decided to change it from 300 to 600. So yeah, there's one that's got an A500 that's got both cables cut off, so it's literally just the box and the power supply inside. So I presume it was dead, that's why somebody cut the cables off, maybe to make their own one. And yeah, and then decided to sell the rest. So I'm not sure how it's going to work out with the holes. Hopefully Commodore decided to reuse the molds, so that the placement's in the same place. I'm just wondering, looking at this transformer and the layout, I think this was originally soldered as pins without wires, so directly from here to, because the power supply actually mounts like this in the case. So I think there would have just been pins going through, because I can't understand why Commodore would put big chunky pieces of wire like this on there. I could be wrong, but the way that that's bodged in, I mean, these cables aren't even through the holes in the PCB. They appear to be soldered onto pegs or something. So this might not even be the original power supply, although I think it probably is. I think maybe it was on some kind of pegs before and it's just snapped off. We'll see. I don't even know that it works, so obviously in that condition I'm not going to plug it in. So let's take a closer look at this. I mean, yeah, this is, yeah, the keyboard's standoffs are broken. So let's just whip this keyboard out. Might as well. got to come out anyway. I need to take the keys off, retrobrite them, extract those two broken stems. That one's just turning. See, that's broken off of there. And yeah, this is where the middle, that middle screw that you can see here, it's still on there. So this is going to need some a fair bit of work to get rid of that. Probably this is raised, so maybe I can just pretty much iron it flat, maybe. Might have to spray paint it, not sure yet. Some gunk in here, it's all crusty. I don't really want to think what that might be. Oh, mustn't lose the screws. Don't want to go those going straight because we'll need those to reassemble it. Heating compound on there is pretty crusty. I mean, at least it's got all the chips, especially the SID. I have no idea whether the board works yet or not. I haven't even bothered testing it. We can leave the LED in for now. Let's just get it out of this case and have a better look at the bottom of the case. I'm going to take this side out first. I don't think there's anything holding it down. Or is there? There's bits rolling out. No, there's nothing holding it in. There's the ones screwed in the ports. They screw to the case. No. And the switch is holding it out. So, yeah, you can see part of the standoff there. A great big hole where there shouldn't be a standoff there, so it should just be a flat disc like that. So obviously something has landed on this hard from the top then, because it pushed the foot right through the bottom of the case. I didn't get that part, so yeah, nobody knows where that is, I should imagine. So there's the serial number for all you serial number aficionados. So 2 front feet are there and seem to be in good condition. You can see we've got an artwork number on the back. Oh, we've got to take the screw off first. And that's held on. It looks like it was soldered on at some point. I think there's a great big blob of solder there. Looks like somebody's had a go at it. Somebody's definitely been in here before, so I don't know if any rework has been done underneath. Okay, so this is also artwork 310381. But this is a Rev 9 board. Okay, we've definitely got some bodge wires on the back here. Don't think we have those on here. We have the resistor. Ignore these little bodge wires, these are the ones that I put on here because obviously there's some bad traces on this board whilst I was attempting to repair it. It kind of works, this board. Sometimes it gets some output, some it doesn't. I think probably the issue with this is going to be the color RAM. I suspect that's what the issue is. Obviously I will see that when I get to it. Okay, so we've got 4 bodge wires and that's resistor. So are they factory or are they repairs? This is the question. So if you have a Rev 9 C128 flat board, let me know in the comments whether yours has these bodge wires on here, because they do look factory to me. Okay, so here the PCB trace has been cut in 2 places. Let me get something to point with rather than my big fat fingers in the way. Okay, so here and actually under the wire here have been cut. That trace went from here up to here and then to there. So they've obviously isolated this pin and then connected that through. So yeah, something inside here to do with the VIC chip or the C120, the 8 character mode chip. I'm not sure what that chip's called. There's a little capacitor bodged here as well, a little bypass cap. So yeah, so then this pin then is linked through to this, which is also inside of the metal can, so we'll whip the top off of that in a minute. And also, yeah, this one. And then it's just strange that they use 2 different wires, because here they've used this really thin, fine green wire, which was obviously fitted, which is definitely got to be factory, and was fitted afterwards. Or maybe it was fitted afterwards. Maybe it's not factory, but you know, if it isn't, they did a bloody good job of it. Probably better than these, because yeah, it looks a bit of a mess. So that seems to be going from this 74 LS 257 and then running over to the Z80. So I'm wondering if that bodge wire replaces the bodge wire that's on the top of the other board, because that other one also goes to the Z80. Oh, yeah, this red one goes to the Z80. So you have this one here, and then this goes all the way over into here, which is near the 257. So yeah, I think they're just running that bodge wire under here. Yeah, and it appears that green wire goes to a similar place as well. It goes to here. Yeah, so basically, yeah, these are so 2 revisions. Obviously that's a revision 7, this is a revision 9. So yeah, they still weren't able to resolve that issue, and then it looks like they've introduced a different issue here. More dust bunnies, and yeah, this keyboard is going to need a bloody good cleaning. It is absolutely filthy. I mean, we'll have to take it apart anyway, because for sure, because we have to get this standoff out, because as well as the stem from the keycap there, it's also snapped. But luckily I do have some spares. On this one, the casing around here has been cracked, but that shouldn't affect it. All the other keys appear to be functional. So let's plug her in and see if she chooches. Our C128 is alive. I'm not too sure on the bytes free whether that's correct. Looks okay. LED's on. So let's plug in the keyboard and see what happens. Okay, well, I obviously recognise the keyboard because the ASCII key was pressed. Okay, so we definitely have the German letters. We can't try 40K to colour mode because I don't have the cable. And it won't work with this anyway. I need the actual 1084 monitor. So we're getting our German letter, so this definitely has the German character ROM in here. And that is all working. Okay, so let's try it in C64 mode. .38911. That looks pretty good to me. Oh, it does look so much better with the thinner characters. Basic version 2. Yeah, it makes a hell of a difference. Looks a lot crisper than a standard C64. Looks like all the keys seem to work. Okay, let's reset it in 128 mode. So she took a licking, but she keeps on ticking. It's alive. Knocked me down with a feather. I would have thought this would have had some kind of issues with it because of it having so much physical damage to the casing. I really didn't expect this to work. So let's just plug in our C128 dead test card, our diagnostic card, and see what this says. Yeah, obviously. So our SID chip sounds great. Doesn't seem to be any problems there. Let's just plug in some more of the harness. This is the excellent harness made by Sven Peterson. So we'll get that in there. Serial dongle. And C128, which is port 1 and which is port 2. Port 1 I presume is at the front, yes. As the 8 is getting quite warm, it's not even being used, I don't think. Okay, so this is the C128 dongle. Disconnect our keyboard. Come on. You don't want to go in there. Pin's not bent. Yeah, now it's gone in. Okay, that's that. I do have the cassette dongle, but I can't test it because I have the short cable because the C64 cassette port's close. So there's just the short cable. I do have a long cable which Sven's provided. But yeah, I seem to have filed that under M for missing because I can't find it. So we'll skip that test. And hopefully we should get some more favourable results back. Well, it was saying our keyboard is bad, and one of the 6526s is bad. Yeah, it could just be a dirty contact. I mean, the keyboard was working fine, so I don't suspect that is the problem. Reset works. No, yeah, and then go straight back in. So, I mean, it pretty much appears to be working. I can test the cassette port if I can find the cable somewhere. Oh, that definitely needs a heatsink on it. That's getting way too warm. What I'd like to do is get this thing running with CPM. Because yeah, I think I've probably used CPM years ago back in the day, because I do remember using one of the earlier Amstrads with 3-inch discs. I'm not sure which model it was. It was one of the business ones. My father had one at home, so he could do some work at home when we were kids. So yeah, it was like green screen. It had the 3.5-inch discs in the side of the monitor. So yeah, I think it was a disk-based system. I don't think it had a hard disk. I can't remember. But yeah, I remember going on there and playing around with it when he wasn't looking, of course, because obviously it was his work machine, and yeah, he worked for the government, and yeah, so probably shouldn't have been on there. So yeah, there would be hell to pay heavy quarters on it. I remember earlier back in the day, before that, he had some. I don't think it was an IBM machine. It was a clone machine. I think it was a Compaq, and that did have a hard drive in it. So I think something like a whopping 2 megabyte hard drive or something like that. One of the big old Winchester drives that you had to park the heads on it before you shut it down. You couldn't just turn the power off. I think it's probably the first PC I ever used. So that would have probably been an 8088 system. But yeah, I mean, DOS, CPM there. Back then they were probably very close to each other. So, next step is strip down the keyboard, extract these 2 key stems, then extract that, obviously remove all the keys. I might retrobite the keycaps, haven't decided yet. They're not too bad, but yeah, I think, yeah, I've got a little UV retrobrighting setup just for doing keycaps. Nothing bigger at the moment. It's winter here, so yeah. I won't make you sit through the disassembly of the keyboard. I will get all that done, and next time you see her, which should hopefully be within a few seconds for you guys, yeah, this will be looking in a lot better condition, and yeah, we'll see what can be done with that case. Back in a jiffy. So So our motherboard is tested and working, and our keyboard has been cleaned, and also the keys have been retrobited, so yeah, they look a lot nicer than they did before. This is slightly unusual keycaps. Normally on my other flat you have the extra character set there for the German layout, and they're normally in a light grey, but on this keyboard they are yeah, the same colour as the rest of the lettering on the tops of the keys. Interesting. It's the first time I've seen a keyboard like this, and I couldn't find any other pictures online of the keyboards, so maybe this was an earlier version, but who knows, or maybe it's just what they had at the time available. So before I reassemble all this, what I want to do is I want to take off this heat shroud here, because I won't put the top back on, because these heat sinks, they don't make very good contact with the chips, so yeah, I prefer to remove that. And what I will do is I replace them with these heat sinks. These are 70mm by 6mm by 22, so they're a bit wider, so yeah, it won't really fit in there. That cap's in the way, but yeah, I just want to put these on all the main chips, just basically to keep them cool. They are a bit longer than the actual chips, or quite a bit longer, but yeah, if it overhangs each side, then yeah, as long as they fit on there, I'm not too worried about it. And then for the SID chip, I actually just cut one down already, so that it's yeah, because that would look silly on there. So let's get this desoldered, and then we can start reassembling our computer. That's my solder sucker. There it is. I just want to clean the tops of those chips first. Clean the bottoms of the heat sinks as well. That's our SID chip done. We definitely want to keep that thing cool, because yeah, they're prone to failure, and we don't want a dead SID on our hands, especially since they are quite rare these days. That's the 3 main chips that I wanted to get done. I can do the rest later, because yeah, obviously you don't need to see me put the coolers on all these chips. I'll put them on here and here. I actually probably will just trim these ones down, because these are bigger chips, but these smaller chips, I suppose, yeah, we put a full size one on there and then cut these ones down, because yeah, otherwise yeah, they are a little bit too big. But I will have to do that another day, because at the time of recording this is a Sunday, and here in Germany, yeah, you're not really supposed to make any noise that will upset your neighbours. Otherwise, some of them will actually call the police. No kidding. The issue is what to do with these chips, because they have these paper labels on, because these are not masked ROMs, these are just EPROMs. So yeah, they'll probably have to take the labels off, and then maybe just put the labels here, stick them onto the board, just to keep them, if I can peel these off without destroying them, although that one is a little bit damaged already by the looks of it. I thought I'll just take a photo of it for future reference, and then apply the heat sinks, which might be the way to go. So let's get this back in its case. Obviously I'm not going to put the top shield back on here because yeah, I just want to use the heat sinks. And here is our case. All nice and clean and looking good compared to what it used to look like. More on that later. Yeah, I will keep the bottom shielding on there. I think, yeah, there's quite a few screws missing from this. They'd fallen out because they were broken. But I did save the ones I had. And I'll have to, obviously, for a lot of the case screws, I'll have to find some that will fit. Okay, so okay, that's our board screwed back down. So time to put the lid on. I've already mounted the keyboard in the lid because, yeah, mainly because this thing here, this LED holder, is a real pain in the neck to get in and keep it right. So yeah, I thought I'd do that beforehand. And yeah, you have to remember to put these little plastic wedges in so that the keyboard gets supported properly. Okay, so let's plug in our LED and our keyboard. Screws in the case yet. First of all, I've got to find them. I'll find some spares because the ones that were in the original case are totally trashed. Now, earlier I said that this was the exact same computer, and technically it is the same computer. It's just a different case. Yeah, the other case was, yeah, probably too far gone. It was very yellowed. It had this cable burn. There's parts of it missing. Yeah, it's cracked here and great big gaping holes in here. So I actually had this case spare because the main board that was in this machine, yeah, was cracked. So I haven't been able to repair it. So yeah, when I saw that machine online, I took a chance and hoped that it would be a working board in a knackered case so that I could put the board into this case and have a second fully functional 128 flat, which I now have. And let's see, make sure it still works. Okay, so that's in there. I've got my Pi 1541 here. Power cable. Make sure it's switched off first. Okay. Press record on my capture device because, yeah, obviously I don't want to miss the footage. And there we have a nice, reasonably clear picture. There's a lot of gel barring on there, but you know, what do you expect with these old machines? So let's go into C64 mode. Oh, something must be pressed. So yeah, to get into C64 mode, there's a few ways you can type in Go 64. Are you sure? Yes. And a few moments later. Okay, so let's do load B, 8. Yeah. Helps if I can type. And no Commodore restoration or 128 or 64 would be complete without a bit of 8-bit dance party, as made probably reasonably famous by Adrian's Digital Basement, although he has his own custom screen. I'm no SID expert or aficionado, but that sounds pretty good to me. So I would say that's a good SID. Okay, let's reset that. So I hope you like that look at restoring a C128 flat. If you like this video, then give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification so you can be notified when I upload new videos, which is not too often at the moment. As always, thank you for watching.